Hey, Anthony Simonie coming to you today with a video tip that I think is going to be very useful in your business and your personal life for that matter. So I've got a friend and a mentor as well, one and the same. His name's Carl, and he's just a brilliant guy, incredibly successful. But one of the things that he talks about, and let me just back up for a second, because what I want to share with you today has everything to do with the acronym ROI, so return on investment. And so everybody talks about return on investment. So what's the ROI? What was the ROI of your ad spend? What was the ROI of your last hire? What was the ROI of whatever you fill in the blank that has to do with in your business, right? And one of the things that, again, my friend Carl came up with is this acronym that nobody thinks about, and that is the acronym COI. So COI stands for cost of inaction. And so what does that mean? Okay, great. Throw these acronyms around, Anthony, but what do they have to do with me? Well, it has everything to do with you and your success. And that's because COI directly correlates to the success of your ROI. Okay, so cost of inaction. Think about this for a minute. And if you're honest with yourself, you probably have multiple things on your plate that are pulling your attention away. Right? I mean, we all do in business, right? We got our daily activities, we got the delivery of our product or service, all those different things, fires to put out, personnel to work with, hiring, firing, whatever it might be. And so there's all these things we have to do, and all these distractions, not that they're not important, but a lot of these distractions don't have anything to do with growing the revenue in your business. And oftentimes more revenue in a business can solve a lot of problems. And to get that revenue, we have to be willing to take the necessary required actions. And oftentimes we know what those actions are, but we just don't take the action. We don't implement whatever the knowledge is that we have, or the strategy or the tactic or whatever it might be that we know will move us closer to the goals we have in our business and our lives. But we're just too busy, right? We convince ourselves that if we stay in our comfort zone and we just handle the problems or the daily activities, all the different things that go into operations, if we just handle the things we're used to, then everything will work itself out. But the only problem with that is that when we start telling ourselves that someday we'll get to these other things that we know will help us to get to where we want to go in business or life, we realize somebody comes along and says, hey, you know what someday means? And this is something I learned a number of years ago. And that is that someday is code word for never. Usually if we say, hey, we're going to get to that someday when, most of the time we never get to it. And so we have to really make that a priority. So when something's on your mind, you have a strategy, a tactic, some knowledge that will help further you along in your business, it's important to take that action and put it into place and make it useful now. And that's because now is all we really have. And you're going to have to forgive this video. I know it's bouncing up and down, but I'm out here walking in 90 plus degree weather, and forcing myself to get out and get the exercise that I need. Even though I didn't feel like it, and even though I know I was going to be really hot, it's really important. I know in order to improve my fitness, to be able to lengthen my life, to be able to throw my kids around in the pool and be active with them, I've got to get out and I've got to do this, right? And it also is proven that exercising also helps you to be more productive in business. And so anyway, I'm out here doing this, right? This is a perfect example of, I know this stuff. And I know that I could have been doing anything else, right? I could have laid down on the couch, watched some Netflix or whatever my favorite show is, but I'm out here. I forced myself to get out here and do it now because I know that that's, if I let that pass and I say, hey, I'll just do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and it's like, well, I'll do it the next day, right? And then I'm busy, something comes up, pulls me away, and then I tell myself, hey, look, I'll do it the following day. And so you see how tomorrow or someday ends up being never. It's just human nature. And so what I want to really kind of pound into your brain today is if you're sitting on some knowledge or you're sitting on a strategy that you want to implement, because it will better your business, it'll better your life. Do it now. Do yourself a favor and put it into action now. One of the things that you could do to make sure that happens is pull out your calendar and time block it. So put it on your calendar in its own category and make sure that nothing else distracts you during that time. Very, very simple thing to do, but most people don't do it. And look, admittedly, it took me a long time to figure that out too. But I promise you, if you focus on taking action and you realize that there's a cost of inaction, and that cost of inaction often it's going to be the biggest cost. And sometimes you can't even calculate the cost because there's opportunity cost and all different things that go into cost of inaction. And it's really hard to calculate, but oftentimes it's a really, really big number. And so the only way to combat that and increase your ROI is to remember your COI, so the cost of inaction. And even though you can't put a specific number on it, most likely, it's a big number. So how do you fix it? You take the action. You take the necessary required actions and you take them right now. Because again, why now? Because someday is usually code word for never. And we as human beings, we get into a habit. We're very habitual beings. And so if we develop that habit, it's a habit that's hard to break. And so what I encourage you to do right now is focus on action. That action that you take is always going to be better, and it doesn't have to be perfect either. So you may not know everything that you think you need to feel comfortable to take the action, but you need to take the action because that action is like a muscle, right? You build a muscle by actually doing some work, right? Exercising it, doing the reps. And so do the reps. In this case, take the actions. You'll build that muscle. It'll get better over time. The cost of inaction will go way down because you won't be falling into the same habitual things where you aren't taking the action. You'll be taking more actions that lead to results. So that being said, I'm gonna get back to my walk here, but listen, if you are kind of stuck or you're not sure what action to take, or maybe you've got multiple actions that you're thinking about that you want to take, and you don't know which one is the higher leverage one right now, and you want somebody to come alongside you and point those things out, we'd be happy to do that. We do that for free. Every day of the week, we've got some time blocked on our calendars to help individuals for free. There's no cost to it. And what happens on these calls is we go through, where you're at now, where you want to be, look at your business, all the things that you're doing, and take a deep dive into where those hidden opportunities may be, and then give you some specific things to do to go fix those things or to get you closer to where you want to go. So all you got to do to get one of those spots is there should be a link somewhere around this page that you're watching this on, and click that link. It'll take you to a calendar. Just going to grab a spot that works for you. On the other side of that calendar, there's a few questions to fill out so that we can get a snapshot of what you're doing in your business. Just some basic information so that when we hop on a Zoom, we can have some homework already done and be able to make the most of our time together. So other than that, thanks for being here today. I hope you will focus on this tip, put it to work in your business, and look forward to seeing you here again soon on the web. Take care.